We're happy together, happy together. Ba 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 da 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 ba 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 ba. So happy together. How is the weather? So happy together. How is the weather? How's the weather, Keith?
The weather's fantastic here in the land of West Hollywood, California. A little bit cloudy today, which is nice, and I think most reflective of the world that we're living in right now. How about where you are?
It's good now that you came into my screen.
Oh, how wonderful. Well, I know that we picked this song this morning because we wanted to remind our community the love that we have for them and that we're so happy that we're together again this morning and that we're coming together in this format known as Zoom or Facebook or via the internet technology. And so we are indeed happy to be together. So a good morning to every single one of you. And so thank you for being here today and hope that you're all having a fantastic morning. So I am Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. I am the spiritual leader for the Center for Spiritual Living at Los Angeles. It is my pleasure to come to be with you this morning as we come together, as we have for over 30 years, to honor who we are as divine beings. And so this morning I have a multimedia presentation for us to see as we go about our time together. And as you'll see on the screen, that we are a community that supports individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so let me get us to the right screen. Something just happened. There we go. And so a big hello to each and every one of you. I want to let you know that it's my honor and my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of all who've been a part of this community over the last 30 years, and to know that the power that exists within me, that exists within each and every one of you, that which we call the Spirit, salutes the Spirit in you. It's namaste, if you will. The hands that are placed together up against the heart are a Sanskrit greeting, an offering that the divine, that power, the presence of the only thing there is in me, honors and acknowledges that within you. Whether you're joining us today via Zoom or Facebook, please know that we as a community honor you and celebrate you. I'd like to invite you in this moment to make sure that your cameras are turned off, and indeed that they stay that way throughout the service. And at the end of the service, if you are joining us through Zoom, I'll invite you to turn them on so we can have hello to each and every one and do more than just honoring the Spirit through technology, but be able to communicate with each other. Once again, I said we are a community that has come together for over 30 years here in the land of Los Angeles to honor the practice of metaphysics and to honor what we teach here, which is primarily the philosophy and faith and way of life known as the science of mind. It's a compilation of the world's great religions that was put together by Dr. Ernest Holmes and published in a book in 1926. The essence of this book is what we here in our community practice and invite you to practice and become more aware of in your life, and I'll speak more about that today, is that there's only one thing that's ever taking place. It's the power of the divine, or source, or life. And as it's taking place by means of you and by means of me, we live in a universe that is governed by spiritual law. And so we attract into our world, or manifest in our world, or experience in our world, a reflection of the very things that we know to be true and the absolute completeness of our thought process. It's how we show up in life, how we act, react, interact, and respond to life itself. And because of this universal law, we get to see that in outer form. As well as we here as a community to support you in our vision statement, which is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so today we are here as we come together in this technological format to support you as you find your personal self empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Our service that we have together online is one where there'll be music, ritual, a message, some visuals to stimulate you, and also what we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. But prior to moving into that ritual, I'd like to take a moment and let you know that we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origin, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities in life, for we stand with you, and you are safe here in our community. We welcome you just as you are, honoring you in the context of that great quote from Dr. Ernest Holmes of Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. And so, as our founding pastor, Dr. David Walker, used to say each and every Sunday morning, and I invite you in the privacy of your own home to affirm this with me, we welcome one and we welcome all. And so let's all just take a deep breath in together as we honor and welcome each and every individual. As we move into our morning ritual, calling in the light, I invite us this morning to begin to see light in a new way, to remember that we are living with light, that darkness does not prevail, that inner light that exists within you and within me, that flickering flame of oneness, whose qualities are peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom, exist within all. And so as we release and let go of the challenges and the trials and the discordance of our world, we come together today to not only tap into that light, but to ignite it, to ignite a spark in it in a new way, so that we may not only illuminate the pathway before us from a place of being awakened in a new way, but to share that illumination with all on our journey. And so the prayer that I have for us today in the form of an affirmation comes from the one and only Mahatma Gandhi. And it is this: I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. And may wisdom, my wisdom, flows from the highest source. I salute that source in you. Let us work together for unity and peace. Let us work together for unity and peace. And so as we move into the next phase of this ritual, Yaron will guide us through a song that will help us support each other in working together in unity and peace. It's a song that has been sung in metaphysical churches and centers for many, many, many years on Sunday mornings and many other days as well. I invite us this morning to call upon each vibrational frequency of the experience and the expression of when this song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, has been sung, and trust that this immutable law of life will bring back to us on our planet peace as it begins with you and me. The lyrics are on the screen if you'd like to sing along.
each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow to take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And so, as we move into the affirmative prayer known as spiritual mind treatment, I affirm for each and every one of us that we heed the calling, that we covenant and commit with each other and ourselves that today is the day, that peace begins with us. Remembering the acronym for peace, purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. And so today, and from this moment forward, we use our energy, the energy of life itself, the vitality that exists within us, the vita, life, purposefully, to not only engage in conscious evolution through new actions, new approaches, new perspectives, new ideas, but also with a newer faith than ever before, that good exists in our world, and that we participate in this good and share it and give it. And just as we began this service by knowing that the spirit within each and every one of us honors the spirit within all of humanity, today is the day that we do the same with good. And in so doing, peace indeed does begin to show itself on our planet. And so we welcome it. We honor it. We participate in it. And we live it day by day. As we say together, and so it is. And so it is. So I skipped over at the beginning of our service introducing you to our musical guest this morning, who is Todd Aslip. And we're so happy to have Todd. I'm very happy to have Todd, as I know you all are as well. Todd, welcome, and thanks for joining us this morning from Provincetown, Massachusetts, where you have been doing your annual summer gig, correct?
That's right. Yes, it's been a great summer here. It's been beautiful.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. I was speaking with you in our rehearsal on Friday, and it just warms my heart to know that you've had a great summer there and that there's been activity and lots of fun there. For those of us that are familiar with Provincetown, it's just really wonderful to know that that charming little village of a town in Cape Cod in Massachusetts has got life this summer and it's doing well. So Todd, is there anything you'd like to share with us about the first song you're going to sing?
It's an original, and it's called One of a Kind. It's from my first EP that I ever released, and it's a little song about loving your own individuality. How's that?
Perfect. Well, we love you as an individual. So, ladies and gentlemen, Todd Aslip, take it away.
If you got something to say, say it loud. No one says you have to follow the crowd. Don't you Well, it's easy to be a living room philosopher. It's easy to blend, but not so easy is it to have character, to be different and to never pretend. So if you feel like strutting, baby, go on and strut. Got to follow what you feel in your gut. No one else has got the things that make you what you are. You're divine, you're one of a kind. Superstar, a superstar, yeah, that's what you are. You're a superstar. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's easy to be a living room philosopher. It's easy to blend, but not so easy is it to have character, to be different and to never pretend. So if you feel like strutting, baby, go on and strut. Got to follow what you feel in your gut. No one else has got the things that make you what you are. You're divine, you're one of a kind. Superstar, oh yeah. You're divine, you're one of a kind. Superstar. Whoa, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, you are indeed a superstar, one of a kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure to have you here and bring your energy and your light and your life with us. So thank you. I look forward to seeing you after the message when you share our second song. Thank you, Todd. Claps all the way around from everyone for Todd Aslam. You are a superstar, you all. Do you know that? You're bona fide, we're one of a kind, revolutionary superstar. And so it was just brought to my attention that when I have the slides on, you're not able to see me up in the upper right-hand corner like normal. I apologize for that. It appears that once again, Zoom has thrown us a curveball with settings and changing them and not informing us of that. So as I move through my message this morning, know that you will not be able to see all of this superstarness while we go on, but I trust that you will keep my beautiful image imprinted into your brain as I share our inspiration this morning. So without further ado, here we go. And so this month, the month of August, we have looked at vitality as a way of life, and I'd like to wrap up this month with a review of some of what we've addressed, as well as other things in regards to vitality as a way of life, living in the modern world, and certainly the world of today, where you and I are processing life itself on a daily basis and continuing to remember that we have the ability to co-create a life that we want, and in so doing find personal self-empower on this journey of life that we're on, and ultimately doing that through a spiritual awakening. And to remember, as the lyrics of Todd's song just told us, that you don't ever have to feel ashamed. No, be proud of what people see, because you shine. You're one of a kind entity. What you are is the full, complete expression of the only thing that there is. In this philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind, we refer to that power as God. Some of you are saying that you can see me, so I'm happy to know that. So we refer to that power as God, or the thing itself, or life. And as I often say on Sunday mornings and other days, that it matters not what you call the power, but it matters that you call it, and you call it greatly. And the reason for that is because we live life reflective to our state of mind. And so today I want to remind us that we have the ability to choose vitality as a way of life. F. Scott Fitzgerald tells us that vitality shows in not only the ability to persist, but the ability to start over. That starting over takes many, many different forms, but the form that we are attuned with here in this philosophy, faith, and way of life is to begin to start anew by starting to think in a new way, to start to remember who we are as a divine being, to start to remember that we have the ability and the capacity and the opportunity to change life, our life, by remembering who we are, and to remember that there's only one thing taking place, and to remember that all sentient beings have the same life force within them. Vitality is defined as the state of being strong and active, energy. Now, I'm sure for many of you, much like for me in this last week, there have been moments where there's been challenges in remembering to be strong and to be active, to be energized into what's going on in life. To remember that energy begets energy, and so we get to choose what energy that we show up in life with. It's also known as the power that gives the continuance of life. In other words, vitality is the very thing itself that we call the divine, or God, or source. Vitality is life. It is life force. It is health, youth, or the ability to live or exist. The word vitality is derived from the Latin word vita, which means life. So when you and I choose to live a vitality, it means that we are choosing to live life with life itself. Now, earlier in this month, I used this fun little quote that says, when life gives you lemonade, make lemons. And life will be like, oh, what? Now, we all know when we remember that that was a twist, as it is, on the statement often of when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. In both situations, what it's telling us and reminding us is that we are the co-creators of our life, and that we experience life, the power, the divine, to the degree that we become conscious of it. This power, which is an animated principle of being, it is that inner something that makes everything live, and it exists within each and every expression of it. But as beings of contemplation, beings of consciousness, beings that have the ability to choose, we have the ability to choose how we show up in life. We have the ability to choose how we react to life. We have the ability to choose how we interact with life. And we have the ability to choose how we express life itself. But we don't have the ability to get to choose whether or not that principle of being works. For it works, and it's always working, it always has, and it always will, because it's impersonal and it's infinite. But sometimes in life it appears that that's challenging for all of us to know that it's happening. But Katharine Hepburn tells us to live from this state of vitality is indeed the pursuit of life. In other words, to remember that as we continue on our journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, is that the pursuit itself is to simply just remember first of the spiritual truths that exist within you, within me, and simply everywhere in life itself. And to remember that the very thing that we seek in life is seeking us, Rumi tells us. Well, why is that? Because once again, we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law. And so we attract into our world the very thing that we desire to experience. But because we also live in a world with a law of magnetism, that what we are attracting is also attracting us. And as I've said before in my messages, and I'll remind us again today, is that in doing our affirmative prayer work, or just simply speaking on a daily basis to affirm the good that we desire to experience, is moving towards us equally with each step that we're taking a step forward. And that step isn't necessarily literally one step at a time with our feet or our legs moving. It can be that, but it's also metaphorically. It's understanding that as the way the universe works, that there is this movement always. I was hanging out with a friend last night as we were looking up at the moon and we're looking at Jupiter as it appears to have moved a bit. And we got into this deep discussion around how the Earth spins on its axis while it revolves around the sun, as the moon does the same as it's revolving around the Earth as it revolves around the sun. And which reminds me of this very energy that we're speaking of here by Rumi, is that what we seek is seeking you, that at all times within the universe there is this movement into a higher expression of itself, if you will. But I know that there are times in life where that's really hard to remember, because I don't know about you, but the way I feel about this past week is just as the images on the screen, which is that cat who appears as if it had stuck its fingers or its claws into an electrical socket. And it goes, this is how I feel about now. And I'll explain to you in a moment why I keep adjusting. This is how I feel about now. What a week. What a week. What a week. If we were to take an inventory of the last 7 days of what we are each and all collectively dealing with in life, certainly on a national and global level, we're dealing with having to stay at home through stay-at-home orders. We're dealing with a pandemic on our planet, in our nation, in our state, in our city, in our county. And the reason I address it like that, because there's so much confusing information that's being set out. And this particular pandemic has been so highly politicized in our world. We have the emotions that are going on, both for us individually and collectively for humanity. We keep hearing whether there will or will not be a vaccine, and what science tells us regarding that relative, as opposed to what the politicians are saying about it. We're dealing with, once again, civil unrest on our streets of our country. We're dealing with yet another shooting of another black man. We're dealing with the shooting and killing of 2 protesters by a minor out on the streets with an assault weapon. We're dealing with climate change and the effects of that. We're dealing with all of the hoopla that has gone with the political conventions. We're dealing with the fall of another evangelical leader. We're dealing with the lies and hypocrisy that's coming out of the administration. And all of that is taking place before we even get to what's going on in our personal lives, which may be dealing with unemployment, a lack of income, fear for where we may be able to live, some deep-rooted emotions that are rising up as a result of not being able to spend times with our friends and our loved ones if we're at home, dealing with the emotions that another Sunday is coming by and that we're not able as a community to come together and to hug each other and to hear Todd or Yaron sing live, to hear a spiritual mind treatment from one of our practitioners, or to be able to just sit in the space, our spiritual home. All of that is true, and I want to tell you just about what I'm personally dealing with in my own way. This past Monday, because of the existing conditions in Beverly Hills and West Hollywood, the places that many of us have been taking our dogs have been closed down. And I'm not talking about dog parks, because we've all broken those rules, or our group has. So we did decide to go to a dog park in Beverly Hills, and we walked into the dog park, and my intuition said to me, I shouldn't be here, even though we were with our 4-legged spiritual family. Everything's fine for a while, but I'm trusting my intuition that's telling me you might want to pack it up, you might want to pack it up. Or as our Sweeney's dog trainer says, is experience the good, and then cash the check and get out of there. And when it came time to cash the check and get out of there, I didn't move fast enough. And as we're doing a last throw of the ball, in walks a dog with its owner, in walks another dog with its owner, and within moments, all hell broke loose. A dog attacked my beloved little Sweeney. I dove into it to yank Sweeney out of the dog fight. yanked her up in the air, and when I did, I pulled my hamstring in my left leg and left glute. And that's why I'm shuffling this morning, because I've been on ice for 5 days trying to get the swelling to go down, and it's much better. But I share this particular experience with you because I know that we each are going through things. And for me, what came of light to me was that when discordance appeared, I was able to rise to the occasion, even though I previously, in the prior 5 minutes, had not really listened to my intuition. I had not trusted the wisdom that was guiding me to do something different. I felt in that moment that I was superior to what was going on and that I could control that situation. And yet nature showed up. But when it did, and it seemed to be horrible as it was showing up, a superpower came in, and I was able to lift a dog, a 50-pound dog, above my head with a torn hamstring, and also knock another dog on the head with a chuck it in between the ice to stop the fight. And what then began to ensue immediately as I began to affirm for myself that I'm a vital human being and that healing is taking place, that good indeed is transpiring in the face of that which appears to be otherwise. But it was exhausting, and I know for many of you in today's world that you're simply just exhausted with what's going on. I know this because I've communicated with you. I've read your social media posts. I can feel it in the air. You're exhausted from trying to be stronger than you feel, as exemplified in this picture on the screen. And I love this one that says, my butt is dragging so badly it's erasing my footprints. Good night. Which just shows you that it's requiring a lot of energy for us to show up in today's world and deal with the conditions, the experiences, the circumstances of what's unfolding in today's world, of this discord that's happening in our world today. And this last GIF I love, that's Piglet speaks out to Pooh and says, Pooh, yeah, Piglet, Pooh asks, I'm tired of all of this. And Pooh responds, I am too, Piglet, I am too. But you and I have a choice today as to how we want to deal with what's going on. Our own community member, Dennis Goodine, posted this on social media here, where it shows the Roadrunner spanked up against the car where there is an indentation, and it says, some days you feel like the Roadrunner, and some days you feel like the Coyote beep beep. So let's all choose today to let this week pass by and just declare in this real bit of humor of, it's been a rough week, but on a positive note, I didn't need any bail money and I didn't have to hide any bodies. And obviously we know that that's tongue in cheek, but what it speaks to, and what I invite each of us to do right now, is to release any discord that's going on in the world today. Any discord that's going on within us today. And to remember, as our beloved former First Lady said, is when they go low, we go high. Doesn't mean that we hide our head in the sand. It doesn't mean that we deny what's going on in the world. For as conscious, practicing metaphysicians, we know that denial is not the right answer. It's to look squarely at what's going on and to start anew. To start the pursuit of a new state of mind, as Katharine Hepburn told us. Since we all must begin right where we are, most of us will be compelled, Ernest Holmes tells us, to begin our healing work with a mechanical process. And I'm not speaking just of the healing work in regards to, let's say, my left glute and my left hamstring, but the healing of the planet, healing of the consciousness of humanity, healing of our own state of mind today. And to remember that, as Dr. Ernest Holmes tells us, healing is revealing. In other words, we know to what degree we are healing because we see in the outer world an experience or experiences of what we know to be true and that manner in which we identify with it. And so he goes on to write that we should take the highest thought we have and attempt to enlarge on this consciousness until it embraces a more vital concept of reality. In other words, we should take the highest thought we have in this very moment, which may simply be, I know that I know I am good. or that I know I am a conscious participant in the evolution of my own consciousness, or I know that I am light, or I know that what is required of me right now is to stop. Take a deep breath in, call forth on the depth of my soul, and then see anew. And to know, just as Todd sang to us, that I'm a superstar. And what that means is that I'm a superstar that is both being illuminated from the exterior and illuminated from within, reflecting the source of light itself, not the sun, but the divine. Consciousness is what we're here to tend to today and always. Consciousness, as Ernest writes, in this sense means an inner embodiment of ideas. If one wishes to demonstrate or manifest prosperity or peace or goodwill or kindness, he or they must first have a consciousness of prosperity or peace or goodwill or kindness. And I just shared with you a practice or an example of how to immediately reframe one's state of mind to begin to develop that consciousness. Because consciousness starts with thought and with a depth of knowing. Ernest goes on to tell us that this consciousness that we speak of developing, is more faith. It is more than faith. It's the knowledge deep within us that we're dealing with an immutable law, a law that must bring forth through us, which is the only way it can, a reflection, a mirror image of who we know ourselves to be and to act in accordance with. He goes on to write that while a certain consciousness may be mechanically induced, of course, the more spontaneity put in the mechanical word, the more power the word must have. In other words, he's telling us to stop in that moment and spontaneously go, whew, yes, I am the divine, fully expressed and realized right now, because the law of life that is responding to me is responding to the energy that I put forth, as opposed to saying, I am God, there is one, yes, there is, all is well. To be spontaneous in the way that we tend to our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions, our reactions in life itself. And the way to do that, in addition to the exercise I shared with you a moment ago, is to do what our founding minister used to tell us to stop and ask ourselves, what am I thinking right now? And am I aware of what I'm thinking? Meaning, am I aware of what's actually going on in my mind as thoughts that are developing as beliefs, knowing that those beliefs then develop as consciousness? And lastly, am I willing to experience the results of my thinking? Because we will experience the results of that thinking if we're not consciously awake and alert and acutely aware of what's going on in our mind, and to remember that we have the ability of that age-old affirmation in our teaching, change our thinking and change our life. Not saying it's easy, but remember, Jesus said, after he entered the house, to the blind men, as they came to him, do you believe that I'm able to do this? Yes, Lord, they answered. Then he touched their eyes and said, according to your faith, it will be done to you. And their eyes were opened. I don't believe that he's speaking literally in this moment. This is a metaphor. It's him saying that when you and I choose to have faith in the power that will bring up through us peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom in the face of that which appears to be contrary to that, then our eyes will be opened to see anew, to live anew, to pursue anew, to engage in vitality in a new way. But there are moments in life where that may or may not be easy. But I'd like for us to look today then as to what is required of us to convert our beliefs by converting our thinking. I love this chart that I created for us in a class recently, and I say recently, that would have been sometime prior to the last 5 months, is that when fear shows up, choose faith. When doubt shows up, choose certainty. When pain shows up, as it is in my left glute right now, choose comfort. When despair shows up, choose hope. When lack shows up as a state of mind, choose abundance. And when separation shows up, choose oneness. When victimhood shows up, choose to know that you are a victor. And when alone shows up, choose connection. Let's let today be the day that we regain our conscious awareness of our ability to choose anew. To choose anew. And to know that as the great, great entertainer and rap star LL Cool J reminds us, that when adversity strikes, that's when you have to be the most calm. To take a step back and stay strong, stay grounded, and press on. So what does he mean by pressing on? I have these 4 steps of how to address adversity in life. And the first is to flip your thinking, to convert your beliefs, just as I shared with you. The next is to nurture relationships in life, to reach out to a friend, as we spoke of earlier this month, in a moment when you feel as if you're faced with adversity and don't know what to do or where to go, or reach out to a practitioner in our teaching who's trained to help you reframe your thinking. And to remember to consciously keep moving forward. Step by step, thought by thought, belief by belief, action by action, reaction by reaction, and interaction by interaction, and to look after yourself. To take care of yourself and to remember, as this great Chinese proverb tells us, the gem cannot be polished without friction, nor man perfected without trials. Man, of course, in this sense is man the human. And also to hear, as Dale Carnegie tells us, that most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who have kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. I know personally this week there have been moments, and even yesterday afternoon, where I felt hope was slipping in our world. But it's not. It's not. Because you and I get to choose whether we engage in it or not. And so, today's the day to choose a spiritual practice to engage in. One that I love is to repeat the lyrics of the song by Ricky Byers-Beckwith. That is this. The title of the song is I Release and I Let Go. And the lyrics are, there was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. And I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you're discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let go. You got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, it's only up to God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light, for I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, it's only up to God. Now, you may not like that word, but I'm going to tell you in just a moment of why I think it's important that we engage that word. Because this very image on the screen tells us on this journey of releasing and letting go and finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual empowerment, spiritual awakening, that it's important for us to remember to not tell the power how big our problems are, but to tell our problems, our challenges in life, how big God is. That infinite power. God which may be a very challenging word because it seems in many levels to have been hijacked by the right wing. But let's look at it from a new perspective today. I love this writing in regards to this concept by the old school televangelist. You're going to be surprised when I say this, Reverend Ike, who was a practicing metaphysician. And he says this in a writing that's titled, Pray to God in You. He says, so you see, the God I'm talking about is not some stodgy theological idea, not some old man in the sky concept of God, like we were taught in Sunday school. God, that power, is in me. God, that power, is in you. And right now, when I stop to think that I have an open line to this power, I'm excited. And it's not a one-way line, it's a two-way line. And the song says, and he walks with me and he talks with me. So when you pray, don't try to do all the talking. When you pray, talk some, and for God's sakes, literally shut up and be quiet and listen some. And listen. He tells us that because the God we speak of in this teaching, the God that we pray as, the God that we release to, as Ernest Holmes tells us, is indeed the first cause of life itself. In other words, it's the first cause of living from a place of vita. It is the first cause of living a life of vitality. It is the great I am. It is the very thing that is life, that gives life, that is life by means of you and by means of me. It is the absolute, it is the unconditioned, it's the one and only, it is spirit, and it is the creative energy, which is the cause of all things. And so when we release to this very power, what we're doing is we're releasing to a power that is waiting, as we've heard many times before, if it could indeed smile, in smiling repose, saying, come to me, bring me your consciousness, and let go, and I shall make it manifest in you as you. And as it says in the Bible, if we were to take it literally, in so doing with faith, you, the blind, may now indeed see. And so today I invite you, I encourage you, as I do for myself, to use a new set of eyes to not only see, but to embody and to experience and to express the qualities of this I am creative power, which you and I are one with, which are peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. And know that we each are indeed on a journey. And part of the excitement of this journey is the opportunity to find our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so today we are indeed spiritually awake because we've come together to know this power in a new way. And then to choose to shut up, get quiet, and let it do its thing, unencumbered through us, for it will, as it always does, because it's impersonal. It ain't about you, and it ain't about me. So, let's together know that today is the day for an awakening. And so it is. And so let's all take a deep breath in together. And exhale. And let's bring our vitality back to life as we welcome back Todd Aslip for a second song that's full of fun and energy and lots of vitality and vibration. Todd, I give it over to you.
Thank you so much. I'll tell you a little bit about this song before I sing it, because it's about two of the spiritual tools, the most valuable spiritual tools I think I have in my arsenal. And one of them is having a community of people who affirm my principles in life and who lift me up and that I know I can rely on. And the other one is taking pauses to remind myself what I'm grateful for. So this is a song about gratitude for your tribe. This is called That's What Your Love Does. How do I convey my gratitude when words can never say what I feel? I just want to say thank you for proving to me that love is real. You're my people, you're my family. Show me patience and generosity each and every day. I want you to know just how much that means to me. Time and time again, you were right there when I needed a friend. You reminded me that I wasn't alone. With you I'm home, baby. I'm so happy you're here, 'cause I'm better with you. That's what your love does for me. I'm better with you. That's what your love does for me. Yeah. That's what your love does. Even when I'm filled with foolish pride, a slave to all my demons and doubts, I know that you're still on my side, that you'll be right there, help me work it out. 'Cause with you, I don't have to impress, don't have to present the best of me and not the rest. I don't have to be a success for you to let me to understand me. You're good for my life, you're so good for my life, and I'm better with you. That's what your love does for me. I'm better with you. That's what your love does for me. Yeah. That's what your love, hey, that's what your love, that's what your love does for me, oh yeah. That's what your love, hey, that's what your love, that's what your love does. Time and time again, you were right there when I needed a friend. You reminded me that I wasn't alone. With you I'm home, baby. I'm so happy you're here, 'cause I'm better with you. That's what your love does for me. I'm better with you. That's what your love does for me. Yeah. That's what your love, hey, that's what your love, that's what your love does for me. Yeah. That's what your love, hey, that's what your love, that's what your love does. That's what your love, that's what your love does for me. Yeah. That's what your love, that's what your love does.
Wow, you caught me off guard. Like that was
Surprise ending.
I was up dancing, if you must know, because it helped my leg, and I couldn't help it. What a fantastic song! That's what your love does. Todd, thank you so much for bringing your creativity, for bringing your smile, for bringing your talent to us today, all the way from P-Town.
Yeah. Thank you, Keith, and everybody for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you
We
so
love
much.
having you here. How long are you in P-Town? When does this thing?
Got 1 week left.
Oh, and then where do you head?
I'm going to Europe for a month.
Good for you. For R&R or fun or to work or not
Well, I
that you
have a
have to
gig
tell
there,
us.
and then I'm going to stay for a little while.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, know that we love having you here. It's just a real
Thank
honor
you.
to be in your presence, and I know you can tell that you just enjoy doing what you do, and
I do.
I love seeing that. So thank you,
Yeah.
thank you for
Thanks, you
that.
guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, we'll see you in a bit. All right, everyone. So now is the time in our service that we have the opportunity to support our community financially, and so I am going to get that on the screen. There we go. And to know that all of your support financially, whether it's $1 or $1,000, is deeply appreciated and put to great work as a tithing community. And not only does it support us, but it's making a difference out in the community as we tithe to a variety of places in the world. And if there's anywhere that any of you that are contributors that would like to suggest that we tithe, we're more than happy to take that in. You can send that to one of our board members or to me, and we would be happy to take a look at that. And so now is the time that we come together to support our community financially, called conscious giving. I'm going to share with you the methods as it's written on the screen, and then Yaron will sing us through a song as you take the time to do that. You can go to our website, csl-la.org, and click on Donate, and that will take you through the way to do that through a credit card technologically. Our app, hopefully we'll have the Donate tab back up and running. We had to do some retweaking of shifting of developers on our app through Apple and Google. And so while we did that, we had to take that Donate tab down. That's why that's not there right now. And so thank you all that have gone in to try to do that and have communicated that with me. Still have the ability, though, to take a check if you'd like to mail in a check. Our address is Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. Why can I not say that? 1200 North La Brea Avenue in West Hollywood, California, or my phone number is on the screen, and you can call me, and I can take care of that directly if you'd like. So as you take a moment to do that, let me just remind you that all that information is on our website, as well as through our weekly e-newsletters that you can sign up on through our website. Yaron, please take us away through our song.
With pleasure. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here, right now.
And so let's take a moment and just affirm that love, the self-givingness of spirit, whose desire to create more of itself out of itself through you and through me, does that today. And so I express gratitude on behalf of all who benefit greatly from the conscious giving of all who participate in extending their hand in an open manner that is connected to an open heart, participating in the law of reciprocity, the law of magnetism, the law of abundance, knowing that that which we give returns to us multiplied abundantly. And so I say thank you, not only for those who give, but for the law itself, knowing that the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles is indeed making a difference, as are each and every aspect, facet, element, and individual of our community. Today is the day that good is magnified. And so it is. Thank you all for being here today. It's a real pleasure and honor to have you join us in this format known as Zoom/Facebook/YouTube/ the technological world that we live in. I want to issue a big thank you to Yaron Spiewak, our music director, Todd Uslup, our guest musician today, Travis Smith, who is our audio technician, and to Robert Hensley, who is our technical assistant as well as our administrative assistant. A big thank you to all of you who support us in making this service happen online today and later through a streaming format. Also, a big thank you to each and every one of you for being here today and for bringing your love and your light from no matter where you are in the world and where you are located. We can feel it and know that it's truly expressing itself in all of its magnificence. I'd like to remind you that we have a team of practitioners. These are individuals that are licensed and trained to support you in finding that personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening in life. They're trained to do spiritual mind treatment with you to help you create that shift in your mind. If you'd like to connect with one of those, you can find their information on our website. Once again, that's csl-la.org. As well as I'd like to invite you to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter that goes out. You can do that through our website, and it also has all of their information, as well as our staff ministers, Reverend Lenore Edney, Reverend Edward Brown, and Reverend James Hartsburg. I'd also like to give a big shout out to all of you for being alert and awake and alive through social media for us, and I invite you to continue to do that and follow us on Instagram if you're not doing so, as well as through Facebook. Many of you received a communication from me this week telling you that our office number has changed. Please make note of that. We had to change that through many machinations and expressions and experiences that we as a center and I have had with Spectrum Business this week. So just know that that's the case. Any questions, you can reach out to me. So we're going to close today with a meditation, and at the end of that meditation we will disconnect from Facebook, and then I will give you all the thumbs up that are on Zoom to turn your cameras on, as well as after that, after you turn your cameras on, I'll give you thumbs up to turn your microphones on, and we can say a big hello to everybody. And so let's close in meditation. We take a deep breath in together and exhale. I speak these words today for each of us, knowing that they vibrate in a frequency that connects to someone on our planet who is in need of hearing them, and knowing that that continues from that individual to the next and to the next. And it's the words of the prayer that we used at the beginning of the service by Mahatma Gandhi. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from the highest source. I salute that source in you. And let us, you and I, work together for unity and peace. Let's inhale together again to the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Holding. And as we exhale, releasing anything that is contrary to this peace. As we exhale, 1, 2, 3. As we feel the peace, remembering that yes, there is peace on earth. And in this moment, It has begun. And it has begun with you. And it has begun with me. And together we affirm this as we say, and so it is. Namaste to all of you who have joined us today. If you've joined us through Facebook Live or joining later through YouTube, please know that you are celebrated, you're honored, you're acknowledged for the light of the divine that you are.